won't hear us repeatedly advertise for them over and over tonight like they were doing. That was very interesting. What's up, Reverends in the house? Welcome everybody to the show tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. What a night of wrestling tonight from Impact Wrestling. A lot of interesting matches. One match that went, I think, a little bit too far and with the gimmick. And like Bob Ruski said in the chat room at the beginning of the show, was it a shoot or not? With Austin Aries at the end of Impact Wrestling, where you kind of saw him storm off, looked like he called somebody out in the crowd after the match, and just stormed off, flicking everybody off and then leaving. So it was definitely an interesting evening of Impact. So we'll jump right into what we saw tonight. The opening match to Impact Wrestling was the tag match with Rich Swann, Willie Mack, taking on the Third Eye, Matt Seidel, and Ethan. Is it Ethan Page, right? Correct? Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't sure. So,
Not Ethan Carter.
yeah, I almost said Ethan Carter. 90% watch for Jericho. Be honest. Yeah, I won't say 90%. I would say maybe about 50% watched for Jericho to possibly show up. But obviously we'll get into that. So we had the opening match with Willie Mack, Rich Swann, Matt Seidel, and Ethan Page, and it was a pretty good opening match to get the crowd going. And I tweeted out that I really hope this isn't the only time we see Willie Mack on Impact Wrestling. He kind of hinted at that this was his debut tonight, so maybe he'll be sticking around. But what did you think? Well, first, let me get your thoughts on the setup of tonight's show because it was an interesting setup. I don't know if a lot of you guys in the chat watched Bound for Glory tonight, but it did have that Twitch feel to it, that
Yes.
indie Twitch feel to it with the camera kind of really close into the to the ring. And I don't know if it was just me, but it seemed a lot. Everything looked a lot smaller. The ring
Yeah.
looked smaller. The venue looked really small. Like it was just like if it was really crowded. It seemed like they didn't have enough space to really move around in that particular arena. But they worked with what they were given, and I thought the opening match was pretty good. So let's get your thoughts on the whole setup and what you thought of the opening match.
Yeah, it did feel really Twitch Twitch product. Maybe they're cutting costs. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's another issue. Maybe it's just a cost cutting measure for this show. There being that we did get another announcement for another show, but we'll get to that. I mean, but yeah, it looked different. That's what even when I put in our little private chat on Twitter that this feels like a Twitch stream. I mean, it really did. It seemed the way the camera seemed like they had one hard camera and then camera guy on the outside. Maybe they had two or three, but it just seemed like a really low budget wrestling show. I mean, we've seen the shows they've done before. Slammiversary, maybe it's the venue. Maybe they just didn't have good setup in the venue. I don't know. But like Slammiversary didn't feel like a really. It felt like a good production, not WE. No one's WE production, but it felt Slammiversary felt like a big show, and it felt bigger than Bound for Glory did tonight. I just didn't feel the same. I mean, overall, to me, the show in general didn't feel nothing. I felt like Slammiversary was bigger and more important than this show. But yeah, getting to the opening match, I thought it was fun and entertaining, and it was good to see Willie Mack. I haven't seen a lot of him. I've seen some of him, but I think they make a nice little team. One thing I didn't like was the ending of the match where Willie Mack grabs the mic and says, "Hey, screaming loud to get you front seat." It's like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just do this before the show even goes live? I mean, why? What's the point of doing that while the show's still live on TV? They didn't even show the guys who got the seat. I mean, what was the point of even doing that?
Yeah. I thought that to myself. That to me, that's the thing you do when you're not taping anymore. You go into maybe like a promo package. You could have had Willie grab the mic and did that. I thought he was gonna come out and say something important, not try to promote guys to move up to the front row, and then advertise comda.com again as well. So
Hey, good for
yeah, I
Impact.
got you.
You
I
know,
got you. I feel
good
you
for
on that.
them. Good for them. They got a sponsor. Hey, hey, they need money, so hey, good for them. They got a sponsor. They're not making money from Pop TV, so at least they're getting money from sponsors now, hopefully. So that helps.
Yeah, I mean anything helps, honestly, with them. And yeah, sure, it may have gotten a little bit kind of, oh my god, again with the com.com, but hey, if they had to do what they had to do, I'm not going to hate on it. It was just funny how they just kind of had to throw that in at the beginning of the show. Um, Next we had the open challenge with Eli Drake, and this is where a lot of the talk of the town was maybe it's possibly Jericho. We know we touched on this last night on the show that apparently Chris Jericho is from New York, but he does have his home ties in Canada. But if you really looked into his past, that's where he's actually really from. So the people were thinking, oh, it might be Jericho. Because when, of course, Eli Drake went out there, fans were chanting Jericho, of course. So I'm thinking that maybe possibly Jericho is going to show up. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking he's not. I think last night I predicted it was going to be Tommy Dreamer. We still did see Tommy Dreamer, but it was not Tommy Dreamer. It ended up being James Ellsworth. James Ellsworth comes down, pretty much says that he doesn't like people bashing New York. Said it a long time ago. He even dated someone from New York, so technically he can, answer this challenge. Yada yada yada. Ends up being a match. Eli Drake pretty much, I wouldn't say squashes him, but pretty much squashes him. Grabs the mic again after the match and says, "No, I wanted someone, a real challenge, a Hall of Famer, a former world champion, just going on and on." I'm like, holy shit. Are we going to see Chris Jericho? It's because what he's saying is kind of, describing Chris Jericho, but no, we got Abyss. Abyss comes down, the newly inducted Hall of Famer and Abyss. And I guess, I don't even know if this was officially a match, but ended up being a match, I guess. And Eli Drake takes a big table spot at the end. And Abyss gets a nice little showcase from going into the Hall of Fame last night. Dave, your thoughts on this, and were you a little bit disappointed on who answered the challenge?
I was shocked. Yeah, I guess you could say I was disappointed, but I was surprised it was him for sure. That kind of threw me off. I didn't expect to ever see him in the Impact, which is kind of weird. But I mean, yeah, wow. Yeah. To me, it's not Eli Drake anymore. It's Heath Slater. Just call open challenging to all these people. He's gonna start open challenging legends now every week. Now watch. And he's gonna get squashed by all these legends. Like Heath Slater did. That's what
Yeah,
it seems like.
it's crazy that people in the chat room said, some people on Twitter said maybe Cass said Bobaruski. I don't think Jericho will ever come to Impact. Eli Drake was done dirty, says Catino. What you guys
Eli
have?
Drake's overrated.
Wow. You think? I don't see him being overrated, but it's crazy how Impact really they wanted to keep Eli Drake. They went out of their way to re-sign him, keeping him, I guess, from the WWE because there was potential of him going there. And then you have him getting potentially played like this. It's a little bit.
Let me ask you this, Tony. Okay, a football team. Do they want to keep everyone on their roster, or they just need the extra body to keep the league happy to have the minimum guys you got to have on a team? To me, that's what it is. They needed another body on the show, another wrestler, because their roster is really slim. So they signed Eli Drake, probably for a bag of peanuts.
But he is a kind of, I wouldn't say popular wrestler, but he does make a good run on the indie scene. So it's just kind of crazy that they would throw him in that particular spot, because to me he could have been in definitely in a bigger spot.
Not a feud or nothing. He's not doing anything. He's just open challenge. That's all he's doing. He's not doing anything at all.
And see, now people are talking in the chat room. I was going to ask you this question too, because to me this spot right here was probably the perfect time to bring in Jericho if you were going to bring him in at any time now. Excuse me. Well, now that he didn't show up, do you think that we're not going to ever see Jericho in Impact Wrestling?
Jericho is too big to show up in some open challenge for some nobody like Eli Drake. There's no way Jericho's going to answer some open challenge for Eli Drake. I'm sorry, that's a no. No, I think he'll. Honestly, I still think we see Jericho in Impact Wrestling. People don't think we do. I do because man,
But do
he
you think
wants to help
this was
everybody
probably
out.
the big opportunity right here? Yeah, I'm sure he wants to help. You know, he even tweeted out tonight that he's watching Bound for Glory, and he even tweeted out some praising of some matches that he watched tonight. But you
See,
would
look what he.
think that what is going to be the opportunity that they will be able to bring in Jericho? Is he just going to randomly show up?
That's what he
It,
does. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
what
true. Is he just going to randomly attack somebody? Is that what we're going to expect from him?
to me the best feud for Jericho, in my opinion, there's a few guys there, but to me, a Sammy Callahan and Chris Jericho would be awesome because that would make or I mean anything. I mean, there's guys there that he should try to go after would be interesting, but then there's guys like it make zero sense like an Eli Drake. But yeah, what if they brought Jericho in and said have him working with Impact Wrestling, not so much even on TV, but just working there? What if he?
Because
What if
honestly, if he's going to come in there, he's going to make an impact. No pun intended. So he's going to want to come in there, and most likely, he's not going to go in there. And if, as much as I would love to see this match, and don't get me wrong, this match would probably be insane. But he's not going to go in there and attack Brian Cage and try to win the X Division Championship.
no?
If
I mean,
he's going to
imagine.
go in there into Impact, he's going to attack the big dog, which right now is going to be who won the title tonight. So
I
it's
mean,
just
that's a crazy situation because imagine Chris Jericho walking around as the Impact World Champion. Even if we're gonna get the Brock Lesnar sentiment that he's never there defending the title, he's never on TV. We're gonna get that. I
right.
mean,
Let's go to the chat room real quick. Of course, the Red Sox fan is dogging on my Bucks um, from losing tonight. I would have been disappointed. I thought it was going to be Cass or Enzo. I think people expected too much from Impact, says Red Sox fan. Jody says Jericho is full of surprises. Ducks fan says I want to see Killer Cross versus Jericho. Jericho will show up on SmackDown next week, says DX. England in the chat says sounds more like wishful thinking. Bliss in the chat says Jericho going to go in and revive the Grand Slam Championship. That's not even that. That's not. It's, oh God.
technically, Aries still has that. I think.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do because I think it's more people want to see Jericho in Impact more than what we're actually going to see actually happen. And sure, I think a lot of people would love to see Jericho make an appearance in Impact, but I would just after tonight, I would have to say I highly doubt it.
I don't. I think it happens because look what they're trying to do. They're having trouble with the network they're on now. And if you go to a network and say, "Hey, we're gonna have Chris Jericho come in and wrestle," I mean, he's gonna do a match. I mean, so that's gonna help your ratings right there on the show. And if you get on a better network, which they can, if they, I'm sure there's a network out there they can get on that'd be better than what they're on now. But I think Jericho comes in there. People don't think it's no way he'll ever show up. Well, people said no way he would ever show up on the U.S. and do anything except in Japan.
Yeah,
People,
so it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with the Chris Jericho situation. But thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Again, this is Impact Wrestling Post Show, Bound for Glory edition. So I hope everybody was able to watch it. And if you're not, I hope we do a good job of letting you all know what happened. I think a couple of matches are for sure. Check out on YouTube if you can. One of them is the next match we're going to be talking about is Tessa Blanchard taking on Taya Valkyrie for the Impact Knockouts Championship. Tessa Blanchard retains. A lot of people on Twitter said that she was going to retain because I did ask the question on Twitter. A lot of people also thought that we might see the married couple both walk out as champions. Tessa Blanchard ends up taking the victory. I thought this was Taya's, at least in my opinion, best match I've ever seen her have. I know a lot of people are high on her. I think it's more because of her looks. I know that a lot of people call her Thick Taya, but I really enjoyed this match. I was kind of surprised that a little bit that Bletcher kind of picked up the victory. It would have made sense a little bit if they had Valkyrie win because she's kind of in the spotlight at the moment with this whole Aries and Impact and Aries, sorry, Impact and her husband situation. But it was still a good match. Tessa Blanchard wins. But my question is now, what's next? Who's next for Tessa Blanchard? Because
That's a great question.
she's pretty much defeated everybody.
Yeah, I mean, she tech, she's yeah, that's tough because she's never defeated Allie. Well, she has defeated her, but I'm talking for the title. I don't think that was a title match. No, it wasn't for a title match at Slammiversary. But yeah, I
Right.
mean, other than Allie, I mean, and Rosemary, whenever Rosemary can come back, I mean, there's stuff there. They do need to kind of recycle and refresh this division and bring in some more women wrestlers. But for now, if you want to just keep Tessa Blanchard as your champion, defeating basically people who don't belong in there with her, fine, go for it. I mean, the match was good, yeah, but I mean,
Let's see. Red Sox fan
I
says
know
Impact is lacking tons of star power.
it is.
Young Graf says Impact needs to stay on a smaller network. They
I
have
don't.
great talent. They have great talent, but no star power, says Red Sox fan.
How does staying on a smaller network help them? It doesn't. How is that even? I mean, if you're on a network that actually pays you money, that would.
Well, it depends on what's a smaller network. Like, it depends on what's a small network in your opinion, because it could work on a small network. It just depends on what small network it's on.
Is it working for Lucha Underground? I don't think it is.
Now, if it depends on what network it goes on. If it's one that you have to pay extra for, yeah, it's probably going to hurt them. Like, look how Pop
look at
TV,
Destination America.
right? And Pop TV, for example, does not help them at all being on that type of a channel because you have to pay extra for it. Look at you; you're not able to watch it because you have to pay extra for it on your cable package. A lot of people don't watch Pop or don't watch Impact because of that certain situation. Now, what's a small network? Throw out, and people in the chat room, throw out examples of a small channel.
Here's what I was thinking would be a great, especially after this ROH and Impact show they're doing on the Jericho Cruise. I was thinking, like, why not try to strike a deal with Sinclair Broadcasting and get on the charge with ROH? I mean, that would be,
England says a good point though. He says it's all about priority and what time. Like exactly. Them being on Thursdays is not a good time. It's a good time during the summers, but once football season starts, nobody's watching Impact like they were in July and June and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They have to. To me, I'm not even sure what a good time slot and day would be, but it seems like honestly, Thursday evening is not great.
I'll tell you the 2 nights to be perfect would be, since SmackDown's leaving Tuesday night, to be perfect to go back on Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
That's true.
Tuesdays or Wednesday would be the perfect night.
Whatever that channel they had on pre-show for All In. What's the channel that New Japan comes on?
They came on New Japan
Access TV. Access TV. So Impact. What if Access picked up Impact Wrestling?
I still wouldn't be able to watch it, but they're still on a lesser channel. But I'm saying, if he's talking about the StarCast show, that was on WGN America.
Okay, I think that's what he's talking about. WGN.
And remember, not too long.
Brendan after saying, "Good evening, Tessa Blanchard has an awesome butt. Good night." Oh, that's funny. That's funny. What's SmackDown moving to Fridays? Yeah, England. Yeah, I hope you're joking. WGN would work, and there was rumors of them going to WGN.
Yeah, before. Remember Dixie Carter before they went to, what was it, Pop TV, that they were gonna go to WGN, but it wasn't gonna work out for them.
Right, and it just seemed weird that
because that would have been the perfect spot, honestly. WGN America would have been, because I mean, it's the perfect channel for them because it's a almost like a local broadcast station in a way. And like a lot of people get it on their local cable, just local cable.
So is the issue that Impact wants to leave Pop, or Pop is dropping Impact?
It seems like they're dropping them because, like I said last night, they told them this week we're moving you to 10 p.m. It seems like their contract is up, and it doesn't seem like Pop TV is going to renew the contract. Didn't someone say it ends in like November or something like that?
I'm not honestly too sure on that. I just know that you mentioned Pop and Impact cutting ties, so I thought it may. I don't wasn't sure how the
I
was
think
it
they're cutting
Impact wanting to live or if Pop wanting Impact to leave. I wasn't sure on that. Jay asked, "Was Austin stuff worked?" We're not sure. The Aries stuff did look like to me it looked legit, but if you're how us wrestling fans think more than that, and it looked like it was just playing up to the storyline that they were currently having, where there was legit heat between the two.
we'll get there. But also another place that I think would work too for them, and SmackDown was on there before, and that was My Network TV. Something like that would work as well too.
Yeah, was gonna have to see what happens. So next was Eddie Edwards versus Moose, and this is kind of a clusterfuck right here. Didn't like this. I did not care for this at all because it was supposed to be Eddie Edwards versus Moose singles match. Ended up being a disqualification because Killer Cross gets involved. They start beating up on Eddie Edwards, and guess who comes and makes the save? And I haven't tweeted it out. I'm just waiting for him to come out. And it was Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer comes out, makes the save. This ends up being a no disqualification tag match. And Eddie Edwards and Tommy Dreamer get the win. I mean, just to me, this match made no fucking sense. This should have just been a singles match I'm not saying I necessarily enjoyed the stuff we were getting from Moose and Eddie Edwards, but they played up this storyline on Impact for the last couple of months, and it ends up like that, where it ends up being a throwaway feud for a tag match. I just didn't care for it. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I'm with you on this too. I mean, I didn't care for the match either. But I mean, it was just like one of those, like, okay, they turned it into basically a hardcore match, and they got it. It was first 5 minutes, it was a disqualification. So yeah, I mean, Tommy Dreamer got the nice little pop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's why they did it, and I don't think it was really even a match, was it?
The first one, no. The Eddie Edwards, I think he just got. I don't know if he went
No, I feel
outside
like
the
the
ring.
second one was that really even a match?
It was
Or
just a hardcore match where we saw table spots, Kindle sticks. We saw at one point, which was the grossest fucking thing ever, was Tommy Dreamer drinking, I don't know, water or beer and then spitting it into Eddie Edwards' mouth. And then he spits it into Moose's face. That was, that was, wow. That was just. Impact was very edgy tonight. This to me was a not. This was not Impact Wrestling tonight. This was a whole different new company. I heard fuck yous all throughout the show, not from the fans, but from the wrestlers. Shit, bitch. I mean, everything was coming out the wrestler's mouth tonight. It was interesting to see that type of a show we got tonight. It was very interesting.
we didn't talk about it, but even during the Ellsworth segment, the crowd was chanting "Fuck you, Ellsworth."
Yeah, fuck you, Ellsworth. He was not. Yeah, he was not over with the crowd at all. Because I think the crowd was expecting Chris Jericho. So, and it's in New York. What do you expect? Next, we did get the OVE taking on Brian Cage, Phoenix, and Pentagon in an OVE rules match, and this match was just 120 miles per hour. Man, they were all over the fucking place. We even saw a very dangerous botch. I'm not sure who did it on who. I can't remember. But it looked like he was trying to go for a cutter. I think Brian Cage may have had him on his shoulders, I think, or someone had someone on his shoulders. He tried to do a cutter, and it just flopped. I think it might have been Phoenix. It could have almost landed on his head. It was very dangerous.
Oh, okay.
And the way that they had the setup, I'm surprised they were able to do half the shit that they did outside that ring. The way the cage was the guardrails were so close to the ring.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just I'm surprised nobody did a front flip into the front row tonight. I'm really surprised nobody landed into the crowd. But I'm not a big OVE guy. I've said this on before, but I enjoyed the match. I really enjoyed it. And Brian Cage was fucking phenomenal. Phoenix does crazy ass shit that just blows my mind.
Why doesn't Phoenix do the Phoenix Splash? Come on.
I just want to see Phoenix put in a better spot. He's been stuck in this damn feud with OVE for over 2 months, 3 months now. Let this guy move on to something different. I'm not sure how this guy's English is necessarily. I haven't
Very.
fought. I'm not really well because you know how that he exactly. They played up Pentagon very well as champion with him not even speaking very much English. So you make a good point. So I just hope that Phoenix moves on to something better. Now Brian Cage picks up his first loss. Not technically loses his first singles match, but takes the pin from Sami Callihan. So props to Alex because last night he called that he said Sami Callihan would pin Brian Cage. So this is pretty much setting up probably Sami Callihan and Brian Cage in a feud for the X Division title. I did agree with someone on Twitter that said, "Why didn't we just have an X Division championship match?" I think he
Yeah.
would. I think I would have preferred that a lot better. But hey, this match is awesome. Enjoyed it. OVE gets to win finally. I think they needed this victory. Your thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, this match was fun, but it was basically your X Division match. That's basically what it was. And there were some crazy spots in this match, like when Sammy went to do that cutter off the top rope, and Phoenix like flew over top of him and stuff. That looked really bad for a minute. But I mean,
Yes.
yeah, there was a lot of, and Sammy got the win, so hopefully that means it's going to be Sammy Callahan Cage for the X Division title now. But yeah, that would have been a lot better, an X Division style match. And you know what? I mean, it is what
What
it
did you
is.
think of the finish where they did like 25,000 super kicks?
I mean, we can thank Shawn Michaels for this. So yeah,
That was a little bit of overload, wouldn't you think?
I mean, it's no different than watching a bunch of super kid wrestling. Is all the
But
entries.
three guys. I get it. It's Brian Cage. He's the Terminator. But three guys giving him knees and super kicks. It
I
took
mean,
that much, to
it's no
defeat
different.
him.
I mean, I'm not trying to take this to WE talk, but it's no different than how much it took the Bellas to take down Ronda.
Thank you for the
I
Super
mean,
Hearts, Young Graf.
it
Thank you,
was
everybody, for the Super Hearts. Appreciate that. From Anthony Dux, Jeffrey Cross, and Reezy. Appreciate the Super Hearts very, 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 very much. Y'all guys are awesome for that. And thank you, everybody, for the regular hearts. And thank you guys also for the retweets and the shares on Twitter as well. Appreciate you guys dropping in here. I know it's a little bit of a late evening. Try not to talk too much because I know you guys probably got to wake up early for work tomorrow. But this match to me is worth talking about because this match right here was probably the most dangerous match I've ever seen. And I don't think it would have been as dangerous if they would have made the boards steady or I don't know how you could have done it to where they wouldn't have moved like that. But it
man,
could
this
have
was
taken
so
one
stupid.
it could have taken one slip up and someone could have really gotten hurt. Talking about the superplexes off the top of the ropes, the things that they were doing to risk their lives tonight was just unreal, unbelievable. And we've seen Hell in a Cell matches. We've seen all type of crazy ass gimmick
Well, this
matches.
was different though. This
No, no,
really
no, no, no. I'm just saying. To me, I know. I'm giving like examples of how crazy this match was. We've seen so many crazy ass gimmick matches, and this to me was probably the most craziest one I've ever seen. They took the boards off. I'm sorry, the mat off the ring. Just to give y'all guys an example, they took the mat off the ring, took off the turnbuckles, if
yep.
I'm not mistaken. They took
Turnbuckle
off
matting.
all the mats outside the ring. It was pretty much boards that they were wrestling on, and they weren't even steady boards. They were moving around, popping up. It was they were moving around. It was just a very dangerous match. We even at one point, I think Red Sox fan in the chat talked about it, where King overshot the dive outside the ring and clocked his head on the barricades. That shit looked brutal. I couldn't watch. It was uncomfortable. I was just waiting for someone to get seriously hurt.
Yeah. I mean,
Your thoughts on this?
I completely agree with what you're saying because this was just like I didn't know there was not going to be no ring mat or nothing on the ring when this match is advertised. I had no. Did you guys? Did they say that
I don't
beforehand?
recall. I don't even
Yeah.
recall them saying that. And I was really worried about how they were going to actually do this match with the room outside the ring that they had.
Yeah, because this is crazy to do that. And even Don Callis pointed out in commentary, like, oh, we see why the mat and everything is what holds those boards together. And so it was like, wow. I mean, I didn't know that either. I mean, I don't think a lot of us knew that the boards move like that without the padding and everything down there, holding everything tight together when you tie it down. So I mean, yeah, it was
Very, very dangerous.
crazy. It really was just nuts. I mean, I don't know what to say about this, but man, this match. It's not like it was a good match. It was kind of like a clusterfuck of a match because you're sitting that you can't help but watch it because you're like you keep watching these boards. And at one point, the referee even was pulling one of the boards out and moving them away because it was popped all the way up,
Yeah.
and it was just crazy. I mean, heck, and the finish of the match is basically Conan came in and a lot of people, which I'm sure we should talk about this too, and I'm sure a lot of people are mad and disappointed on how we got Conan in this match because he came in, did a couple spots, he didn't take no bumps at all, did a couple little hits with his little sock, and that was basically it.
Yeah, he was kind of wasted. He was taken out earlier in the show, and then he came up to save the day, I guess. Let's go to the chat room. Austin Aries looked pissed after the match. We're about to touch on that. 2 matches away from that. Actually, a match away from that. Catino touching on the OVE, Brian Cage and Pentagon and Phoenix match. It looked like an indie match with all the super kicks and cutters. I could see fair point on that. The match was so dangerous. I covered my eyes most of the match, says Bob Aruski. Josh Matthews says that they were going to remove the mat. I guess he's talking about during the show tonight. And Bob Aruski says maybe jumping with your homies in the ring wasn't okay to do. Yeah, they had like a little rap concert before the match actually started, and they're jumping around in the ring, and all you see is their boards popping up, and it's like, oh shit, this match is not going to be safe. And I think in the first minute of the match, we already had. What's his name? Hernandez busted open. He was bleeding. So it was a very intense and crazy match. And I'm surprised, honestly, that nobody got seriously hurt tonight because of how close that ring was to the barricades. If you haven't checked it out, guys, check it out and see how I was probably the closest I've ever seen the crowd to a ring. Like you could literally, they could have reached out and touched the ring. That's how close the crowd was to the ring. From like on certain sides of the ring, it was insane. Do you think this is the end of the feud finally?
I hope so, because I don't know what else you can do. I mean, I honestly, I would have been much happier with if the ring would have stayed together and they had this hardcore match like this. That would have been fine with me. Could have been a lot better too.
Who thought that was a good idea? Right, England. That was. They really. I'm sure they had it looked good on paper, but they should have known that they were putting their wrestlers at severe risk doing that type of a match. Because it would have taken just one simple slip. And those guys could have been very seriously hurt. This pay-per-view would have been cut off the air. It would have just been like that. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the match. It was just kind of like, ooh, don't get hurt. Don't die. Actually, glad Conan came in and didn't take no bumps because with the way the ring looked. Yeah, I think that was a little bit too dangerous of a match for Conan, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm just saying, just the fact that we were promised Conan's going to return to the ring, and then that's all we got.
All right, let's get to this next little segment. And wow, which was Ali versus Su Yung.
In the Undead Realm.
In the Undead Realm. And wow. I don't even know what to say about this. I mean, we saw Rosemary. She didn't really do much. You could tell she's still hurt because she just threw really. She's just throwing punches. We saw someone get stabbed with an axe by Ali. Killed 2. I think was it 2 undead's bridesmaids.
She didn't kill them if they're already dead. You got to.
That's right. Okay. That. Okay. All right.
That's how you get around the legal stuff. They were already dead.
It was just do we scope after Monday night? No, we scope Chuck Wagon, we scope Tuesday nights after SmackDown Live. I don't even know if I liked it or disliked it, to be honest with you. It was just interesting.
See, I liked it. I thought it was fun. It had that kind of cheap '80s horror feel to it, and that's the kind of fan I am. I love those cheap '80s horror movies, and that's what this kind of felt like. And it was just, I don't know, it was different. And she was going in there with an axe, and then she's slicing up undead, and she even stabbed Su Young in the neck with a knife or something. It looked like, but I mean, I mean, towards the end, they're trying to get out, and then Rosemary pops up to save the day with her Super Saiyan powers, I guess. I don't know, but I mean that was pretty crazy. And one thing I found really interesting too is Rosemary got or Allie got like this demon voice at towards the end of that, and it was just like okay. So and they keep teasing Cherry Bomb on Twitter. I'll get mad. Just bring her out already. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it's different. It's no different than what they did with Final Deletion, where they did all this crazy weird stuff. So I mean, I like it. I think it's entertaining. I like the stuff. So, but I'm a mark for cheesy horror stuff. So that's me.
It was corny and cheesy, says DX. Catino says I was lost on this segment. Thank you, Chuck Wagon. Appreciate that very much. They didn't England. Yes, they didn't kill him. They ran. They did run him over. He survived though, but they did use that to push a feud. Yes, they did that. Um, it, this segment was just interesting. That's all I can really say. I would have to watch it again to see if I liked it or not. It was just
Yeah, someone said they can't take Impact seriously with this stuff. Well, they were doing it with the Hardy Boys, and everyone loved it. And people loved Final Deletion on Raw when they did it a few months back. So I don't see this any different than that.
but I could see his point though, because you want to see, to me, I guess you want to see Impact move on to more of a serious and stuff. And this to me was just like, really, come on now. But Bobby Roode made a good point. He said, I think that segment had Jimmy Jacobs written all over it. Jimmy likes that horror stuff. I agree. And even
Yeah,
someone put on and you mentioned it had that '80s feel, like that HBO late night horror movie where the acting is not the greatest, but it's so bad, but you can't stop watching, kind of thing. And I think
yeah, it's like
that's
a B movie. It felt like a B movie, and that's what I don't understand everyone's hate for it because everyone loved Final Deletion when they did it, and it felt the same way when they did. It felt like a bad B movie, and that's what this felt somewhat of the same as that. I mean, so I mean, but I'm not saying everyone liked it, but I'm saying a good portion of the audience. Oh, hey, I really like that, and it's no different than that in my opinion.
Jimmy Jacobs even tweeted, "What did everyone think of the Ed?" Oh, okay, so you probably had something involved in it, probably. Um, so what's next? Do you think she's turning into some type of a demon now, or what the hell?
I mean, it seems like she's like half possessed, so supposedly half possessed. And remember, she has no soul. So is that storyline gonna play in with James Mitchell? You know, the whole her having no soul type thing. Are they gonna go somewhere with this storyline? And I like this because this isn't anything to do with any title picture or any major storyline going on in Impact. It's a sideline story, and I kind of like what they're doing with it. I would much prefer seeing more segments like this than the global network match of the week.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. To me, you have pretty much like right now. Basically, you have technically Rosemary is hurt at the moment, but right now you have four women involved in one storyline, right? Correct. So what are you gonna do with Tessa Blanchard? You're gonna bring in another woman for Tessa Blanchard. Are you going to now have Tessa rematch against Taya? Like, what are you gonna do now? Because it just seems like one feud is wrapped up in everybody's wrapped up in one feud at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and it does seem like you have Ali and Kara Hogan wrapped up in the Sue Young stuff right now. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, unless they want to start bringing some more women in, I would love them to bring in another Lance Storm student, Rachel Ellering.
Yeah, I think what Impact needs to do is bring in some more women wrestlers, and then they were doing it for a little bit. They were bringing in women every now and then on Impact, and it just seems like they kind of stopped. and we haven't seen anybody since, I guess, Kiera Hogan. She's really stayed since making her debut, and we haven't all kind of talked about how we were hoping that maybe she would get a run for the title. Doug's fan even mentions in the chat room that Impact is partnered with Riot, so maybe we will see some more women brought up to Impact. So thank you everybody for watching again. We are live on YouTube. If you haven't already jumped on the YouTube, go give us a subscribe over there. We have 6 people currently watching the Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory post show. Appreciate everybody who's on there watching it with everybody on YouTube and everybody on here on Periscope. We already hit over 1,000 views tonight, so thank you guys for popping in here and sharing the product and interacting with us. Let's get to the main event, where we saw Johnny Impact take on Austin Aries. Yes, bring back Shotzi, Bob Ruski. I agree with you on that. Interesting feud here. And I'm not sure if anybody saw what happened Saturday night where Abyss was inducted into the Hall of Fame. It happened live on Twitch. I didn't know this. I kind of found out late on Twitter where Impact kind of tweeted it out, and I saw that they had some highlights of it. So I didn't watch it, but what happened afterwards was the talk of the town, where we saw Austin Aries get onto the mic and basically go off on a rant. He was going to apologize for some of the Twitter comments that he made, I think a couple of days ago, maybe last week, about Taya Valkyrie and her weight and stuff like that, and pretty much switched it around and saying, I was going to apologize, but then you guys go on TMZ and you start bashing me and trying to, discredit my name, and then he laying out the F-bombs and bitch and shit, I'm going to kick your ass, to the point to where Abyss is breaking up. I mean, it had that legit, real look to it. Type of a press conference look where you were, okay, I kind of enjoy this. This has like a real feel to it.
And I don't know if you see in that video, someone threw something and hit someone in the face. I think it was Aries who threw something in that press conference video, and it went flying into the crowd.
So now, coming to the match tonight, you have Austin Aries and Johnny Impact pretty much kind of play off that feud, and they were going stiff at each other, to where they made it look like if there isn't really heat between the two, they made it look as real as possible. But the ending is probably what's going to get a lot of people talking, because at the end of the match, what is his finisher called again, Dave?
Who?
Johnny Impact, the Impact Flip or something. I don't remember what it's called.
The Slamtown move or the split-legged moonsault?
The count where they count down. What is
the Slamtown?
Slamtown, whatever this finisher is called. Johnny threw Aries' purse at him. No way, is that what he threw at him? The Starship Pain. Okay, so he did his finisher.
Well, the split-legged moons, the little split or the whatever split-legged corkscrew is the Starship Pain, yes. But the countdown to Slamtown is a completely different move, where he goes 1, 2.
Oh right, yeah, I remember that. Man. Oh god. So he does the finish. He pins him 1, 2, 3, and usually after a pin, and this match went. Let me see. Let me look it up real quick. This match
20 minutes.
This match went. Oh, it doesn't have it here. Probably about 20 minutes, right? And I'm sure Austin has issues with everyone back. Yeah, everybody has their issues with Austin Aries, I'm sure. So, usually after a pin and a match of that sort, where you've gone all out. I mean, they went all out in this match. The flips, the dives outside the ring, everything. They gave it their all out there. Austin Aries didn't sell it. Got up, kind of looked at someone in the crowd, pointed at them, said something to them, walks off, flicks off the crowd while he's walking up the entrance, looks at Johnny. I don't know what he said to him, flicks off the crowd again, and walks backstage. He pretty much no-sold the finish, right? He just got up and left. It was very interesting. Now, it could have been two things. It could have been, one, Austin Aries has legit heat with Impact. Maybe he feels disrespected. I'm not really sure. Or two, he's playing up to the storyline. and maybe they felt like this was the best way to end the show, where he just kind of to me it was like a fu to Johnny, and he no sold the finish and got up and left. So, Dave, what did you think of the main event and the ending of the main event tonight?
I thought the match was pretty good. It seemed when you watch Aries do these interviews too, it's like there's something seems off about him. Like he doesn't. He seems almost like depressed or something, but something just seems really off about his demeanor and his facial expressions. And so it seems like it kind of played up into this match tonight too, because it's whether it's real heat or not, it feels like it's real, and maybe that's what they're being told to do. Make this seem real. Go at it on Twitter. Go at it on TMZ. But maybe they're all like, we did it. We got them. But I mean, when Aries did that little, usually you see that little kick to the back when it looked like he kicked him in the head, and then Johnny jumped right up and slapped him in the face. I mean, the shots they were going were just stiff as hell, and it was just like, man, this is good. It feels like this is real. And not even talking about before that big finish when Aries did the suicide dive on Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
I mean, I was like, wow, I did not expect to see that. I know we just talked about on our NXT show, could we ever see Ciampa actually do something to Nikki Cross? And we've seen it tonight. I mean, it's like, man, something to that extreme, which you don't see a lot of. You do on the indies, but it's not publicized a lot on TV. So if you watch that, I mean, you don't see it very often. I mean, Impact has done the Battle of the Sexes matches, but they were really done in a tasteful way. But making Aries like this, I mean, could we see something where Aries does something even more vicious? I mean, man, if this is a work and this is how all planned out how it's supposed to go, I mean, they did a tremendous job on getting people to believe it and believe in this story and this feud and this match. And the stuff you said, Aries walking out and no selling the finish. If that was part of the story, he just walked out and just did it to keep this thing going and flip off people and look like he's arguing with Callis or whatever. I mean, it's smart. But if it is real and it wasn't supposed to all go down like that, then there must be something seriously going on with him and with Impact. Because this isn't the same guy who came in almost the beginning of the year. It seems like a completely different person. He seemed a lot different demeanor than he has now. And
He just
so,
seems like a real um I'm
asshole.
yeah, he seems
I
like
mean,
an
right?
asshole. Like he
And
seems like a
he
straight
was
up
right
dickhead.
now. But when he first came in, he wasn't really coming off like that. And now it seems like his demeanor is changing a lot. And if this is a story, he's probably going to be one of the top heels in wrestling. If this is part of the story and it's working, and unless we hear something the next week or so about Aries was let go from Impact Wrestling, we know that was all legit and real. And the reason it made me start to second guess it when Don Cal said on commentary, "Are we seen these real beasts before with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart?" And it's like, okay, so are you trying to say, kind of tell us it is a work because of all that, or what? I mean, because what other better story to kind of play up on that a little bit? We're having Austin Aries no sell his finish and get up and walk away and say fuck all of you and get into kind of a argument with Don Callis on the way out. What better way to kind of play off that a little bit and to make
Yeah.
it seem real?
England in the chat says maybe he's just an asshole. Yeah, yeah, possibly. Moose and Cross seemed lost at the end of the show. Catino said acting naturally, said Bob Ruski. I agree. It was just a interesting into the night. At least the guy makes his appearances. Del cough cough. Yeah, that's true. Del Rio. It was just a very interesting way to finish a big pay per view like that, where you had Austin Aries just walk off. He did no sold the finish, said some shit to the crowd, flicks everybody off. It seemed real. So props to Impact Wrestling for making that look as real as possible, because it has us wondering what the hell is going on, and it definitely has us probably really intrigued for Thursday night to see what happens from here.
Yeah, but and when we watch, and all of us, most of us in here, and I think all of us have seen this, when we seen the Montreal screw job and Bret Hart did all that, what made all that seem real? He was pissed off, breaking stuff, and he was telling everyone to F off and flipping the cameras off and all that. If they went ahead and told him to make this seem so real and do all this stuff and don't sell anything, that would be the perfect way to do it if they went that route like that, if it's part of the story. Because that was real and it felt real.
Yeah, so Russo writing Impact again. No, Catino, they're doing 205 chance because that's what they were calling Johnny. Aries is supposed to defend the Impact title on Ring Warriors next week.
Not
Interesting.
anymore.
What
Or
I
maybe
find funny with him mentioning Vince Russo. Have you seen Vince Russo kind of piggybacking what Bischoff and Bruce Pritchard is doing and doing his own kind of they ask him about certain stuff now. They talked about
yeah,
him
but
winning the title.
he's doing it with the same guys though. Because Matt Coon, I believe he's doing it with. He works, or he at least he did. He worked with Conrad and all them, so they all kind of work together on the podcast. So I don't think I can't listen to it. I'm sorry, I can't. I cannot listen to 2 hours of bro. Come on, bro, it didn't happen.
Yeah, see, to me, and I don't mean that we're going off on a different tangent, but it just feels like to me, I can listen to Bruce Pritchard and Bischoff talk about that stuff all day. But when it comes to Russo, I feel like he's lying so fucking much.
Oh,
And I don't even know the guy. And I'm sure he's a good guy in person and he's not as bad as a person as probably people say he is, but I feel like a lot of what he says is lies. And
I'm
I
sure
just
they are.
I just don't know what to believe between
And just imagine when they do a Jim Cornette episode. That's going to be the most
the
downloaded.
best thing with Bruce Pritchard and him is when he when he acts like Jim Cornette, motherfucker, and starts talking like that. Shit's funny. That makes me laugh. So what'd you think of the match, the main event? You said you enjoyed it? Did it? And to me, I thought I came with low expectations of this main event. I wasn't very happy with the two guys that were in the main event of Bound for Glory, but I think they really brought it tonight. It was a very entertaining match, and I'm really looking forward to Thursday to see what leads next to with the Austin Aries. Was it a work or not?
I mean, that's heck. If it's not a work, or if it is a work, they're doing a great job because they're working everyone and making all ask the same question. Just like when they did the CM Punk thing in 2011, everyone saying, "Was that a work or was that real?" Or this has us guessing and wondering, was it real? Now, did I enjoy the match? Yeah, I thought it was good because to me it felt real. What was going? I kept waiting for a real brawl to break out between these two guys or something major to happen. Like we had little, it seems like those stiff shots at the end were pretty legit. I mean, that's what I came across out of the match, and that's what had me intrigued in this match. Hell, and I'll give them credit. Before late last night, I wasn't too sold on this match, but when you sent me the clip about this whole press conference, it had me hooked. Like, man, I want to see this. What's going to happen and go down here? I mean, that's that. If that would have been put out a week or so ago, I think that would have had everyone talking for a whole week about this match. And to me, that's almost where if it's not at work, then obviously that's why. But man, if it is, if they would have put that out, if this would have been done like a week prior, and think how much buzz would be going around for this match, right? For the whole week, everyone would be talking about like, I can't wait to see this match. And to me, that would have been the big selling point right there. Because before last night, were you even interested in this match before that clip?
No, I wasn't excited for this match at all.
Did
And
that clip get you
yeah, maybe,
interested?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It did its justice. I was gonna ask you one question, but Bobby Roode makes a good point. Impact, if you see this, don't do your tapings in this arena, please. Yes, I
They
agree with you
are,
on that.
though. I think they are. I mean, they're doing them for like the next.
Someone's gonna get hurt, man. Someone's gonna get hurt. I'm telling you.
I mean,
Um,
they're taping in that arena for like the next few weeks, or at least the next 2 days of tapings. What we're going to see it.
now here's the thing. The cool thing happened last night with Aries and Johnny. Sure, now it got people talking, but do you think it did a little bit of an injustice to Abyss?
No, because it
because
was.
to me this was a pretty weak inducting.
Oh,
They
was it?
didn't,
I didn't see it. I don't know.
I mean, I didn't see it either, but it's on Twitch, and then they didn't really highlight him tonight. Yeah, he got that little moment with Eli Drake, but to me, they really didn't mention Abyss that much.
Why do they need to mention Abyssal? So I guess I see what you're saying. They could have made a. Would you rather they did like WE does, where they have a moment in the show and they say, "Okay, we're going to introduce you to the class to Abyss, the Hall of Famer from last night." Would you rather them show highlights or something like that?
No, yeah, I guess because it's not his gimmick to talk. So
No,
I
I
guess
wouldn't.
it would have been kind of weird to have him come out there and
No.
thank the fans and stuff like that.
If anyone did watch that Hall of Fame ceremony last night, I mean, how was it? Did they give Abyss a proper induction? Did they do well by him? It was this press conference done way after that, or what? I don't know.
I think he does because to me, Abyss is one of those life. He's been those guys from day one. And it just kind of felt like to me that it was a little bit of an injustice of how he was inducted. It didn't really seem like it was a big deal. Where, when he had Kurt Angle going, right? Kurt Angle went in and not Christian, who else has gone in there? Name us a few more people that's gone in there.
Sting,
Who?
Sting,
Sting, yeah, Kurt Angle. They made a big deal about it. They even had their own little speech on the show. They didn't really do much for Abyss. I mean, yeah, he had his moment where he came out and destroyed Eli Drake, and they mentioned it then. But you would have thought last night you would have gotten highlights of him talking, But all you got was highlights of what happened after it.
Now, people who watched it, how was the viewership for this little Hall of Fame induction? That's what I wonder.
I think there was like 900 people watching.
Oh wow, that's not good at all. I mean, at least the barbed wire
Well,
master.
they didn't really advertise it very much.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't know anything about it. I thought it was just being clips from Twitter.
Right. If they would have said on Impact, hey, Saturday night, you can watch Abyss get inducted into the Hall of Fame live on Twitch, maybe they would have gotten a little bit more of a better
Would you
outcome.
watch this?
Probably not, But yeah, I still kind of tuned in at the end of it. I caught like the last maybe 10, 15 minutes of it. But still, I think they would have gotten a little bit more viewership if they would have actually advertised it a little bit more. So let's get to the show now. Dave, what are your thoughts, your ratings of the show, and your match of the night?
Man, this is gonna be tough. Match of the night. I guess I'll give it to Aries, and that was definitely the most intriguing match of the night. My rating, was average, about a 3. Look, when I watch the show and I compare it to their last show, I said this earlier, was by far way better than this. It felt bigger. It felt like their big show of the year. This didn't really feel like that at all. I mean, the arena looked small. I mean, the production level and the look of Slammiversary was by far way better than this, and it felt bigger. This didn't feel big at all. I mean, there's no match on this card tonight that has us like, wow, this was fucking awesome. No. Sami Callihan and Pentagon's little death match, or whatever it was called, they had at Slammiversary, was freaking awesome and had us all talking about it.
Heard from Pritchard when he worked there, he had to argue for the website to be updated each week. Bob Aruski, the last. Funny that you mentioned that. I'm gonna go on Impact Wrestling right now. Yesterday I went on ImpactWrestling.com, and I was gonna look at some of the matches that they were gonna have, and they didn't even have Bound for Glory promoted on their website, nor even mentioned that Bound for Glory is Sunday night. They had matches on Impact. I'm sorry, promoting for next week's Impact for matches that happened like 3-4 weeks ago. So it just shows you that they don't keep up with Impact Wrestling's website very much at all. See, now they updated it. Now they updated it today. New. They have new champion. Yeah, they updated it tonight. But yesterday, if you would have went on Impact Wrestling, you wouldn't have known that there was a Sunday night pay-per-view on Bound for Glory. So match of the night to me, I think, was the tag match that opened the show. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Willie Mack.
I can see that, but sometimes it's hard for me to pick the first match because it happened over what now almost 2 hours ago, close to 3 hours ago. You
Right,
know,
right. I can understand that. And overall rating of the pay per view, I'd give it a 3 as well.
yeah, it just wasn't. And also, we got some other news. January 6th, Impact Wrestling is going home. But yeah, they're gonna. I
They're
think.
going home to Tennessee, right?
Yep, we're the first uh, old TNA shows happened at the Asylum, so that's gonna be interesting. See how that looks.
Yeah. So in 2019 will be our next Impact pay per view post show. I think it is a pay per view, right? Correct on that.
Yeah, they said pay per view, so yeah. I mean, that's the next thing. Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be cool to see some Impact. We'll get some Impact tapings out of that too. I'm assuming. So we'll see some of that, and hopefully by then we hear that they're on another network, a better one.
Yeah, so it's gonna be. Oh well, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with these next up and coming storylines because hopefully we're gonna see a lot of people move on from where they are now, and we'll see what happens with Austin Aries and Johnny Impact. It's gonna be definitely very interesting. It just kind of sucks that in next week, everybody, and we had. I'm not sure if everybody was here last Thursday for our announcement, but
Or
next
yesterday.
week, yeah, sorry, yesterday, I should say. But starting next week or after next week will be our last Thursday night show. Yes, our last Thursday
Next
night
week will be.
show. Next week will be our last Thursday night show because Impact is moving to 10 Eastern. It's just going to be too late for us to come on here and do late post shows. I just don't feel like it'll be worth you guys' time or our time to stay up that late and do post shows. So we'll just
Yeah.
move.
Go ahead.
No, I'll just say we're just gonna be moving our Impact, NXT, and our 205 Live Talk to Saturdays. It may extend the show on Saturdays a little bit longer, but for those slow news days on Saturday nights when there's not much to talk about, we can go in on a little bit more on a tangent on more on these shows. But I just feel like a bot followed you. Oh my god! What am I gonna do with my Thursday? Say JT, we appreciate that, dude. That makes us do feel good that y'all did go out of y'all's way on Thursday nights to check us out every time at 10 Eastern. But it just feels like that it's gonna be late, especially with I have to be waking up super early for work, and I just want to give it 100%. And sometimes it's tough to stay up these super late nights and do these shows. So I figured, hey, we'll just move it to our Saturdays. And if hopefully very, very soon Impact moves to a new channel and they come back on Thursdays or wherever have you, we'll come back and do those Thursday shows for everybody. So it just all depends on when Impact Wrestling it's in their hands, everybody. So we do appreciate everybody who came onto our shows on Thursday night. I know a lot of people came specifically on Thursday nights for the Impact post shows and followed us for that reason. And I hope we don't lose your following. We do appreciate everybody who comes in here and interacts with us on Impact. We're still going to touch on Impact. We're still going to touch on NXT and 205 Live. We just got to move it to Saturdays. Now, why don't we do a 205 on NXT on Thursdays? Because the shows would probably be like 30 minutes long. NXT and 205 Live are about an hour and 45 minutes. And we can run through NXT in about 15 because there's usually, what, 2 or 3 matches.
And 205
So,
Live, we run about 5 minutes and
yeah,
be
so
done
it would
with it.
just be a waste of a show, basically. And we don't want to have throwaway shows on here, So Tuesdays and Saturdays will be back, and if there's something special that happens, we'll go live, in the on a special day. But it sucks. Not happy about it. We really did enjoy these Impact post shows. I know a lot of you guys came in here, like I said, for those post shows. So just don't leave us. Come with us. We'll on Saturday nights. And if you can't watch on Saturday nights, just check out the replays if you can't make it. So what in the living shit will be on at 8 p.m. on Pot? Come on, Pop and Impact. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
Um,
and just for the hell of it, I want to look for that too. Yeah, I want to look for that time slot and then I'm gonna look online and see, okay, how good were the ratings for those shows that are on from 8 to 10 on Pop compared to what Impact did? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, because now Pop here on my time slot, it's gonna start at 9 and end at 11. I'm not gonna stay up till 11 and watch Impact when I have to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning for work. So it's just impossible for me. I don't make enough money to quit my gimmick job to just do podcasts. I wish I could. That would be fucking awesome. But I got to work, wake up super early, so it just wouldn't make sense for me to stay up that late and then come on here and do a post show and probably not get off till after midnight. So it just wouldn't work out, and it sucks. I don't understand this time move. I don't see how this benefits anyone
Yeah.
other than they know that they can't compete with football. That's the only thing I can understand on that. It just sucks because there is Impact fans that do like to and watch it early and able to do stuff after they watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, if they're worried about that, why not put it on earlier? You know, why not start it at like 70s? I'm not sure. Maybe people eating dinner, but maybe they wouldn't want to watch it. But why not take it out of prime time, put it on earlier, like 7 o'clock? Like
Yeah, it's just a sucky situation that they're doing that, and hopefully Impact moves or hopefully gets a better time slot. We'll see. Only the future can tell. So we do appreciate everybody coming in here tonight. Let's do a quick little shout out to everybody who popped in here and was interactive and stayed with us the whole freaking show. Thank you so very much. Reverend Anthony Ducks, that's another guy. Anthony Ducks is a pure example of a guy that not a big WWE guy, but just really watches Impact, Lucha, and all those other wrestling companies and followed us because we do touch on Impact. And that's another reason why it's a shitty situation with us having to leave on Thursdays because of this whole crap. Kevin, Alice, Reezy, thank you for coming in here and thank you for the super hearts. Bliss, as always, thank you for your entertaining enjoyment as always. Jeffrey Cross, Derek, Jody, Peckenrod. Who else is in here? Scorpion, Eric, England, as always, thank you for joining us. There's 7 more viewers I cannot see, so if I missed your name, please, please, please say hello. Oh my God, I just checked. Fucking Gilmore Girls is taking the time slot. Wow. I think this happens because networks do this when they fear a show is about to change networks on them.
yeah, yeah, that happened. It happened when it was on. I know it's not Spike TV one, but it was Spike TV back then. But I mean, yeah, they moved them to like 10 p.m. I believe, or 11 or whatever it was, to come on like later on because they were losing the show, so they don't want to help it with the ratings.
Oh, I didn't even see your name. There you go. Brandon Catino is in here. I didn't see your name on the chat. Well, thank you again, my friend. Yes, he's definitely an OG day oneer. Mad Dog, I remember you from last night. Thank you for joining us. Peck and Rod, thank you again. Thank you guys so very much. And I do hope you guys understand why we're taking off the Thursday night show and we don't lose those Impact fans who came in here and talked with us on Thursdays all the time. Just pop with us on Saturdays. It's just to be Tuesdays and Saturdays. It's gonna be weird to just have a two night show, but I think it actually will be kind of better. Get y'all guys more thirsty for us.
Different for us because we've been so used to going from Tuesday to Thursday. Now we're going to be off like 3 days until we do a show again.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll get y'all more intrigued for us to come on live on Saturdays because you won't see our ugly faces as much, or at least my ugly face as much. Iowa Neck, Crown Jewel not listed on the WWE anymore. Yep, that's been talked about today that they have been taking off the listings and taking off Saudi Arabia. But I want to see what happens more in the middle of the week because right now that's just speculation. Yes, DX, I saw that WWE came out with the top 5 betrayal moments, and number 5 was Ronda getting attacked by the Bellas.
What?
Yeah.
What was number 1?
I can't remember number 1. I think it was Shawn and maybe Marty Jannetty. I think possibly.
I can see that.
But I know that was one of them. I can't remember. Can someone? I think maybe DX might know. But wow, that's
Okay, please tell me that Owen turning on Brett is up there somewhere.
No, it was Raw. No. I don't think so.
No, it
No, I
should
don't
be
think
because
so.
I remember that at the Royal Rumble, or we said it was Raw, but whatever. That when Owen kicked his brother and then turned on him, and then started a little feud.
Let me see if I can find it before we sign off tonight.
Or what about Shawn and Triple H? How many times Triple H has turned on Shawn? Like the last one I remember is where they were back together in the ring on Raw, and then they're doing the DX thing, and then Triple H pedigrees him.
let me see. Let me find it real quick before we sign off because this is worth noting.
Hey, if you guys
Oh,
want
here it
to,
is. All right, number one was Seth Rollins betrays the Shield. Number two, Evolution dumps Randy Orton. Three, Shawn Michaels throws Marty Jannetty through a window. Four, Kevin Owens ruins Chris Jericho's Festival of Friendship. And number five is the Bella Twins ambush Ronda Rousey.
so nothing from the Attitude Era even made the top 5 list besides like a Shawn Michaels before that. So nothing
No,
from the Attitude Era made it.
no, not Stephanie aligns herself with Triple H, gets married, and screws over Tess, or Eddie Guerrero turning on Rey Mysterio, or any of those wrong.
Yeah, because I mean Sergeant Slaughter betraying the world,
You know, it was a better betrayal than number five and number four was Champa and Gargano. That was a better betrayal to me.
I mean, to each their own. But
Well, I mean, better than Ronda and Bella's. Come on now.
Mr. Hulkamaniac. What about Tugboat turning on Hulk Hogan? How is
Oh,
that not
Jesus,
a
right.
betrayal?
Yeah, that's a fucking joke of a list, and we all know it. So it's no way to raise our blood pressure before we all maybe be going to bed or relaxing to end our night. So,
And you're telling me one of the billion times Big Show betrayed somebody is not on there?
right? How is that not on there when Big Show turns heel on somebody? How is that not a betrayal of a top five betrayal? Crazy. So yeah, don't forget everybody. We'll be back with you all on Tuesday night. Tuesday night, we'll be back with everybody. Still working on our wrestling logo. I just touched with the guy that's doing our logo. He's still trying to figure out the whole lettering on the get the table stuff. So it's coming through. We're trying to get it all together. Definitely thank you guys for y'all's patience with everything. Again, we have a Patreon. We're going to start doing special stuff on the Patreon to get y'all maybe a little bit more intrigued on to joining our Patreon. It's a dollar tier and a $5 tier. I'm thinking about maybe doing watch parties and stuff like that if you are a Patreon member. So it's just something to get y'all guys interested in donating. If you guys can't and just want to support us by coming in here and popping in those hearts and sharing the broadcast every night, I'd really appreciate that as well. If you guys can also jump over onto the YouTubes and subscribe to us on YouTube at Get the Tables Podcast. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're stuck on 82 subscribers. Would love to get to 100 by the end of the year. That would be just be awesome. And if you can, when you do subscribe, hit a couple of likes on some of our videos. I'd really appreciate that as well. And you can see all our Twitter handles up in the corner. Follow us. We all interact with everybody who interacts with us, and we try to interact as much as we can. So we do hope everybody enjoyed tonight's show, and we do hope everybody can join us on Tuesday night. Dave, any last thoughts before we're live for the Tuesday night SmackDown 1000?
Oh, I can't believe that's Tuesday, but yeah. I'll say this: if you guys want more shows and you want Tony to quit his job and make this a full time, donate to Patreon.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna try doing some more special content on the Patreon just to get y'all more of an intriguement of other than just giveaways. So we do appreciate everybody coming in here, and thank you everybody for subscribing to us on YouTube. If you just went over there and subscribed to us, thank you very, very much. We do appreciate all the support you give us, either if it's on Periscope, if it's on the Patreon, if it's on the YouTube. Just you guys coming in here and pumping in those hearts, and you guys sharing the broadcast and retweeting us and following us. It goes a long way, and we do appreciate everybody who does this with us. So do appreciate everybody's support. It's going to be a very interesting couple of days in wrestling. October is a very busy month. We got Evolution coming up, and It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Crown Jewel. So, yes,
Yeah.
Jody, she would definitely. So thank you everybody again for the support. Hope everybody has a great Monday because I know a lot of you guys have to go back to work tomorrow. Bummer. So you guys have a great, 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 great Monday. And don't forget, follow the Get the Tables Twitter account. We will be live tweeting tomorrow night's Raw. I think a couple of more World Cup matches are supposed to going down, and maybe they'll even mention what's going
Oh
on with
wait.
Crown Jewel.
Oh, we're talking wrestling. I got confused for a minute. You said
Yeah,
World Cup.
World
Like,
Cup or whatever the fuck it's called, Battle Cup, whatever it's called. So I think they announced a couple of matches a couple of days ago. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow night. Thank you, Young Graf. Thank you again for everybody who came in here. One more nice little shout out to Reverend Kevin, Alice, Reezy, Bliss, Jeffrey Cross, Derek, Jody, Scorpion, Eric, Damien, England, Mad Dog, and the 4 more viewers. If I cannot say hello to you, it's because I cannot see your name. So say hello in the chat before I end tonight's show. We're going to be playing some OG's music to end tonight's Impact post show. We do appreciate everybody's support again. We hope everybody has a great Monday. We hope everybody can join us on Tuesday. Any last thoughts, Dave, before we end tonight?
hey, thanks for tuning in, and tune in Thursday night. I mean, it's our last Impact show. We're gonna talk some NXT UK, NXT 205, Mae Young. So yeah, tune in for our last Thursday and come hang out. And let's make it a great final show.
Oh, DX says Rollins versus Drew and Dean versus Ziggler for Monday night. So there you go. Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you DX for letting us know that. Appreciate everybody. If you haven't already, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on Tuesday night, everybody. Appreciate everybody.